I've had a hell of a day. This podcast is getting me. It's saving me. It's what I've been looking forward to all day, and I'm happy to be here. So yeah, I think that sturdiness comes off in the rest of the film. He's a bit of a sturdy character. He snaps at some people in various places. I mean, Carter takes a while to get there, but Carter has more fun. It's like he smiles at the end of Deep Blue Sea. Like it's the first smart thing you've said all day. I think he is happy at the end, whereas Trent Slate, I think, is better. That R at the end.
Trent Slate? Hey, Nick, can you do the introduction with Trent Slate?
Which introduction?
The cool kid high. Whatever.
Trent Slate? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, who's the new kid? Oh, you mean the transfer from Cool Kid High School? Trent Slate?
No, it needs the R. Slater's better.
Yeah.
Trent
Slater? Ooh.
Yeah, that's better. I'm sorry.
That's the thing. You immediately have a reaction to it afterward. Trent Slate, it ends. But Trent Slater, ooh, it's that little bitty right after it.
Is there any of it based on just how we all think of AC Slater?
Or Christian Slater?
No, absolutely. Deep rooted. If I were to say AC Slater, I would probably say Daddy very softly underneath of my breath. You mean AC Slater?
Is there a famous Trent that I can't think
Trent
of?
Reznor.
Oh, of course, Trent Reznor. Yes.
I mean, he does great scores.
He does.
And 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Oh man. And he wrote Hurt, and then Johnny Cash did the beautiful cover of it.
That is a beautiful cover. It's one of my favorite.
He likes that cover. And he did the score for Soul. When I saw that he scored a Pixar film, I went, what? 90s kids. That throws us off, doesn't it?
He probably did something so his kids can listen to it. You know what I mean? It's not like...
It's like what Michael Caine
what
did.
Can I listen
Muppet
to?
Christmas Carol.
Don't listen to the Animal Song, kids. Listen to this other thing I did. This one is just glockenspiels and synths. No. The newest thing.
Step away.
Oh, the Animal Song. That sounds fun. Let me listen to that. No.
Here, listen to this extra 3 hours of score I did for Bird Box. Oh, okay.
Do I hear
Let me release this 10 LP set. He did. And the piano, I love that soundtrack.
Yeah, he did complain about Bird Box, didn't he? He said that was a waste of time.
We all complain about Bird Box.
That's true.
It's fine.
Rosa Salazar is in it from Alita.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, she's good.
Machine Gun Kelly.
There's a lot of good people in there, actually. Yeah.
John Malkovich.
Yeah.
What's better, Bird Box or Box Bird?
Hey, who's the new kid? Oh, you mean the one that transferred from Cool Kid High School? Bird Box? Okay. Hey, who's the new kid? You mean the one that transferred from Cool Kid High School? Box Bird? I like Box Bird.
It sounds like a kid who has got a nickname from bringing a bird in a box to school. Like, Box Bird. Hey, look, it's Box Bird. Show us your bird.
I like Box Bird. It reminds me of Oxford, which gives you some gravitas.
It sounds like that's where Trent Slater... Where are you from, Trent Slater? I'm over from Box Bird. Oh, someone's got money in his family.
Boxburg, Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yes, for the Boxburg Slaters. A lot of money. How'd you make all your money? Shark fins.
We don't tell anyone that.
Yeah.
And imported silks.
They bartered from them.
Yeah.
They traded for the shark fins.
So the boat these guys are on is called the Nevu, Nevu, and I couldn't find anything on that name. It just seems to be a random collection of letters. It's not translated to anything or from anything. There's no acronyms for it. It's just that there's like a rapper, a musician called Nevu, or has a song called Nevu. I couldn't quite work it out. The song was terrible. But yeah, I got nothing on it.
Well, I mean, Nevu is a visible chronic lesion, almost like a birthmark kind of thing, originating from the Latin term nevus, which stands for birthmark. So maybe they just dropped the U. So instead of, or unless the plural is nevi and it's just nevus regard. I don't know.
But nevus is also like I think a Latin term for a mole, or like two moles.
And here we go. There are two moles. There are two dudes hanging out.
Oh, so when I first read this as mole, I imagined it was the animal, but no, it's the mole like the birthmark. So it's exactly what you said. I feel like a fool. Good.
Like the one from Hot Shots that you can move around?
Yes, exactly. The beauty mark. Yeah.
Listen, these guys had it coming.
Yes, absolutely.
They went out of their way to make the most unlikable characters possible, and they got nommed.
Mm-hmm.
But so those, we can't talk about it. We can't get there yet. So these sharks are just swimming around in a flying V.
Yep.
All right, they just love Gordon Bombay. They love Bombay.
Yeah, they got a knuckle puck's worth of teeth in their mouth.
That is pretty scary. If you're just out fishing and you see a flying V of sharks. Dolphins, sure. Pelicans, yes.
Geese, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. You're more surprised if they're not in a V.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But a flying V of sharks with ducks riding them?
But I like the react. These guys have a realistic reaction of, have you ever seen sharks swim like that? They're confused, they're concerned, they're curious. And the sharks swim around and come to the boat. So, yeah, it's I believe this reaction.
I think they did a good job showcasing how smaller fishing operations do shark fin with the bullet that they shoot into the shark's brain.
Oh, yeah, it's like the cow prod almost.
Yeah, they just wedge it in there, it shoots them. I don't know if they'd want to spend that much money on it because some sharks just get thrown back in alive.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess in a way they're somewhat humane because they're killing the sharks and not throwing them back in alive. So the sharks are causing like, they call it what? Deadfall? No, that's trees. What is it called? Ocean fall? When like a whale or like dies naturally and falls to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Then it becomes an ecosystem of its own. So that's terrible. I can't say that's good.
At least it's like a reef, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little barnacles, and it grows new life. And they're reefing. They're reefers.
At least they killed it and didn't just drop it back in, so it suffered.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
But they're only taking the dorsal fin.
Yeah.
From what I've read, you can take all of the fins, and they're all sought after by scumbags. But these guys are only taking with one swipe of the machete. They take the dorsal fin, and that's it. They got a pile of, I counted 16 fins in their little pile, including the one in the mouth of the guy with the selfie.
Well, it's just dark web. The dark web wants the top. That's the meanest. It tastes better when it's the meanest.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I started researching into shark finning, but it's just not a pleasant thing to read about. So, and like the shark fin soup, which is what they're mainly used for, the shark fin doesn't even add flavour. It adds texture. It's like what are we doing? Humans are.
I don't want to tackle it
too
big because it's a big cultural thing. So I don't want to it's just it's ingrained in some cultures. So it's just really tough to. It's really tough to combat right now because it's such a cultural thing. And also, like, shark attacks, one shark attack, it's news all over the world. But, I mean, imagine if each shark who got finned has as many articles as each, a shark bit someone's toe off. Like, it's interesting how the media covers sharks and also that plight. And then that's also part of the culture. So it's just something that it's really hard to stop right now because it's like, how do you tackle it? It's a pretty interesting issue. When I was in grad school, I wrote a paper about it and how it's covered in the media, and it's interesting. I don't want to go too much into it, but it makes me it's not fun to look at, Jay.
No, but apparently the demand for shark fins has declined recently. The Wild Aid has enlisted Yao Ming, the basketball player, to be like a spokesperson for campaigning against shark fin soup. So it's declined drastically. I think it went down to 50 to 70% since 2013.
So that's good. Those are huge numbers then.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm happy about that. It's not down to zero, but it's getting there.
Let's say they said every year let's cut it down 3%. So if 100 million sharks are killed each year, I didn't laugh on like that. I have a nervous laugh. That's like three.
I mean, it's hilarious to think about.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's 3 million sharks that they're not killing. So it's
progress.
Yeah, exactly. So even if you cut it down by 1%, that's 1 million sharks that are living in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, just short goals and work your way into it. Like, you're not going to stop it immediately. But no, yeah, it's good. That's smart what you said, hiring Yao Ming to do all that. It's pretty cool.
I'm just going to close this tab because I don't want to read about it anymore.
I think what's harder too is, at least in the American media landscape, is you paint sharks as the villain over and over and over and over again. And all of a sudden, now you have to try to backpedal and sell, hey, we should be watching out for these guys. It's a little bit harder to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Not
absolutely.
defending it in any way. I'm just saying, like, that's probably where they're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's conditioned by that. And then it's just sharks kill. And then it's like, well, we got to keep them alive. And also in the ocean, you just don't really know what's going on down there. So you don't, the limited numbers, I guess it doesn't really affect too many people who just are landlubbers, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's something that you can't really, it's hard to gauge, I guess, or it's hard for people to see and they don't really care that much about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man, you guys, this is the first time in the history of Deep Blue Sea, the podcast, that I've been somewhat coherent.
That's not true. That's not true, Mike. After some editing, I've made you sound very coherent. But
Yeah.
we have, I mentioned a few weeks ago, my favourite shot in Deep Blue Sea 1, with the shark's teeth coming down. We do get a microsecond of that happening again here at 5 minutes and 4 seconds into this chapter. We just get a little bit of shark teeth appearing. It's not the same extent. It's the shark swimming like horizontally across the screen, and as it goes by, the teeth just appear a bit more. But hey, it's one of many nods to the original that this film has. Some are more than nods, but I wanted to. That's one of my positive things in this chapter. It's like, hey, the teeth are back.
So we see Misty Calhoun swimming, and she's a good swimmer. Seems to be able to hold her breath for a while. We never really see her swimming again for long periods of time.
Not underwater, at least. Well, she does swim, some swimming off screen, and there's a little bit of swimming on the surface later on. But yeah, this is the most swimming we see from her, I think.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is bad, 1 is great in gratuitous swimming, Nick, what would you give this, 1 to 10?
I think this is a 7. Because a lot of it is just she's swimming downward. And I feel like if you look at the footage, I think she just dove once, maybe twice, and they just had cameras set up at different angles to record it. You know what I mean? Also think the form, she does a lot more leg movement, right? Not necessarily in sync, but kind of against one another to truly swim. Like, she's really swimming. It's not like some kind of sensual, like, hey, here's me in water kind of thing. I'm not saying it's clunky. It's just more realistic. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Even when she grabs onto the shark fin and she's going away, her legs, they're not in tandem. They're not together. They're going opposite of one another to truly keep up with the shark. You know what I mean? If she was doing some kind of flaily, like, full body wiggle thing, we're taking it up to a 9, 9.5 easy.
Yeah, she's not Giamatti-ing it.
Exactly.
Her flippers are huge.
I would be.
I said flippers. Her flippers are huge.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's deep underwater.
Yeah.
The deeper the water, the bigger the flippers. That's the rule.
That's how the saying goes.
At least she's wearing flippers, because
Sure.
I love underwater. Wait, I love 47 meters down uncaged, but my wife did a lot of scuba diving, and underwater they have no flippers in that film, and so she likes the movie, but she's like, there's no flippers. So at least they've thought about putting flippers on here.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a criticism at all. It was more just a remark. I've never dove this deep. No, I don't think I've ever worn flippers. So just like I've never seen flippers this huge. That was the passing comment.
Who could swim better?
Huh.
Right?
If
Paul
compared to
Giamatti, Paul Dano.
oh,
In the Truman Show lake.
Well, here's the thing: who's controlling it? Well, obviously not Paul
Christoph.
Giamatti,
Yep.
because he's not. So he's probably mad that Giamatti isn't at work and he caught him slacking off and having a beach day. Most likely he called out like, I'm kind of sick. He's like, all right, well, stay home. I don't want you coughing all over my keyboard here. So I would say he would crank it up to sailboat level storms.
He goes all
It's not going to
Poseidon
go
on him.
well for him. Yeah, it's not going to go well for him. And I think Paul Dano wouldn't be out there swimming. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's afraid of the water, but I think he would just know better. Again, that's the innocence in the eyes going like, I know this doesn't end well. I'm not tempting fate. And Giamatti's like, look, if you don't play, you can't win. And he just goes out there. And Dano's like, there's no contest, but Giamatti doesn't say anything because he's already laps out there. I mean, he is Michael Phelpsing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he is just out there.
It's really. Are there fish in the Truman Show lake?